What's up, everybody? Peace and blessings. It's your boy Angel. Just giving everybody a shout out. I hope you had a blessed day, a blessed evening, wherever you may be. The purpose of this video is to discuss this whole coronavirus situation. I've gotten a few people that hit me up and they keep asking me certain things. So I feel like, you know what, let me make a video and explain a few things from my point of view, at least. All right. First of all, where do I think it came from? Okay, this is something that there's a lot of speculation, but my personal opinion is that this is probably a man-made derivative of another virus, probably a flu type strain or cold virus that has been manipulated by mankind. Whether it's the American government, the Chinese government, or a combination thereof is irrelevant. We can never find out for sure unless you're really the person that created it or part of that plan. Other than that, I believe it's man-made. In other words, manipulated in some form by people to become a stronger strain in a sense. Okay. Now, is the virus really that serious? My opinion is no. I think the virus is serious to people who are immune compromised. In other words, they have an underlying condition such as asthma, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, ARDS, adult respiratory distress syndrome, or anything like that, that is usually a respiratory issue or a heart-related issue because the heart and lungs work synonymously. They need each other. If you're not really old or compromised, and when I say old, I'm talking about, in a sense, an age where, the coughing is going to create a situation with you where you are going to be weak, too weak to cough and too weak to, just get over this episode that happens. Now, other than that, if you're not, I would say 65 and up, you really shouldn't have to worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you're a person who takes care of themselves, works out, is very fit for your age, you probably don't have to worry about it. But again, why get it, right? I don't think that this is like a pandemic in the sense of like one of the horsemen of the Bible and that sort of thing where, a third of humankind is going to be destroyed by this. I think this is just a simple illness. It might be a warning shot from God to let the people know, like, listen, it's time to get right with me. You could die. Got that. I got that. But I don't think it's the ultimate type of disease. There's other things that are, I think, far worse. There's the hantavirus. That's one that people forgot about. You got, the bubonic plague, stuff like that. That stuff will, put you down quick. The SARS was worse than this. The swine flu and all those kind of things. Those things are much more, I think, physically dangerous to us versus what we got here with the coronavirus. The coronavirus is a flu-like strain, and most people could not overcome it. Yeah, people have died, but like I tell everybody, you have a bigger chance of probably falling in your bathtub and cracking your head open than dying from the coronavirus. You have a bigger chance of probably getting killed with somebody with a hammer than dying from the coronavirus. I mean, there's a lot of ways to die out here. And the coronavirus is really at the very, very low end of their scale. So what do I think about this reactivity? Everybody going out, buying tissues and all that sort of stuff, going crazy. Well, first things first. I think that this is a definitive plan by the New World Order puppets, the Illuminati, if you want to call it that, the controllers of the news, the controllers of the banking system. This is a way for them to do a few things. What are those things? One, get a response from the people and gauge it, aka a test run to see how people react to constant bombardment on the news, constant bombardment mentally with this stressfulness of you better go do this, you better do that, or else you're going to die. Keep repeating something long enough, it becomes true to you, and you will react to it most of the time, unless you are very mentally disciplined not to let this overwhelm you. So this is a distraction. It's definitely a distraction. And then during these distractions, a lot of ugly things can be, put into motion because people are so caught up with buying tissue and prepping and all this other stuff. The governments of the world are like sliding in all kinds of bills and putting in executive orders to do a few things. What are those things? One, take away the little bit of constitutionality that you already have. There'll be repression of speech. So people like me that are explaining this will be shut down or told to shut up, or worse, assassinated eventually if you're really that big. Two, keep people from meeting each other so they can't discuss things, because now you can't go to social gatherings, you can't go to clubs, you can't go to bars, you can't even go to church. Everything's shutting down, so guess what that means? You don't get to even hear this information from other people because it's shut down. Three, the government gets to tell YouTube, Google, and all other platforms, especially the mainstream ones, that if they allow content that does not agree with the narrative that the government is pushing, which is that this is such a bad disease and you better take care of yourself, if you disagree with that and you post anything about that, what can happen is that they shut you down or flag you or tell Google, if you don't shut them down, we'll shut you down. So in essence, that's curbing freedom of speech, which is a constitutionally protected right, but it's a human right. I don't care about the Constitution in terms, what is the Constitution? It's a piece of paper. The reality is nobody's supposed to tell any man that you can't say something or ask any questions. That's just ridiculous. All right? And it's wrong, period. Bar none. I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that you can't restrict what I could say or not say. And neither can you tell me I can't go to a store to buy something or go hang out with friends. That is my option. If I feel like doing that, I take the risk. All right? Nobody's paying my bills. Nobody's giving me toilet papers. Nobody's doing anything. I handle my own business, so therefore I'm responsible for myself. And I think everybody should be responsible for themselves. But you got so-called Big Brother trying to tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. If you do, there will be consequences. Jail time, fines, whatever. In other words, first, if you notice, they told you that you couldn't do this or do that, or they were requesting that you stayed home. They were requesting. Requesting is pretty much bullshit, all right? It's a nice way of saying, do it, or there might be a trouble for you. Something might happen down the line. There might be something to worry about. Then they went from that to, if you don't do what I'm telling you, I'm going to do this to you. So now you got the threats. Threats, duress, coercion. That's what that's called. A popular routine that all governments use. Once that people don't cooperate, they're going to put the gun to your head and say, if you do this or do that, or there's going to be a problem. AKA, I'm going to blast your brains out, put you in jail, etc. So that's what's going on. So this whole thing with the whole COVID nonsense is being done, in my opinion, and is being propelled forward as a pandemic, and it's worldwide. So in other words, you can't even go to another country now with this bullshit because you're restricted from travel. You can't travel. If you do travel, you got to probably pay a lot of money or go through stringent, rigorous, search and seizure processes and checks and balances and all this other nonsense you got to go through just to go from one place to the next, which means you're going to need currency. You're going to need paperwork. And the paperwork can be flagged because Big Brother could flag your paperwork. So when you go through one place to another place, they'll put some kind of, red flag on your license or your passport. So when you try to go to the next country, you can't go. They won't let you in or let you out, whatever. You see, so now we got a problem here. We got a situation where the so-called invisible government, because we don't know who is who or was what, they said, and they said, told they said, and they said, told they said, and then next thing you know, they said it's the police with a gun in front of you, and you can't do anything about it, because if you do, you'll become public enemy number one. All right? And that's the problem that we're going to have. So, yeah, it's an ugly situation, in my opinion. You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't buy this, you can't buy that. Everything's shut down. Well, guess what else is shutting down? The banks. Now you're going to have a bank run. People are broke. They're buying all this stuff. They can't work because they're shutting down jobs. You can't open up bars, you can't open up restaurants, you can't open up a whole lot of things. These people are not making money. They're losing money. They're not making anything. How are they going to pay the child care? How are they going to pay their rent, their mortgages? They can't. So what are we going to have? We're going to have default after default after default across the board. And some countries themselves, some entire countries whose GDP, countries like India, Brazil, the BRICS, as they call them, those countries that are up and coming, I don't want to say third world because I don't like that terminology, but the countries that are in the middle, that are up and coming, those countries are going to face a lot of opposition, and they're going to have to take loans from the IMF and do this and do that to sustain themselves. And guess what that means? We got you by the balls. Because now, to guarantee those loans, what do you put up? Collateral, land, ports, and even livestock, which is the people. The people, okay? They become collateral, like all Americans are right now. We're collateral. That's why you have the birth certificates, etc. Not going to get into that, all right? But basically, we're collateralized already. The population of America is collateralized. And everything of America, including its lands, properties, and corporations, all belong to the IMF and the Rome and all these other things. But I'm getting into that deep shit because I go crazy. The bottom line is we're in trouble. We're in serious trouble. So this is what I'm going to tell everybody. There's no right, wrong way to do this. You just got to follow your heart. First, you need to be right with God. The 4 G's. The 4 G's is my recommendation. The 4 G's is this. You got to be right with God. That is the most important thing with coronavirus, with life, with everything, is be right with God. Pray often, meditate, thank Him for everything, good or not so good. Thank Him, okay? And ask Him for forgiveness and seek His face. That's number 1. And number 2, love your neighbor as you love thyself. You see a neighbor having a hard time, listen, go over to him and say, hey, John, what's the problem? Hey, you know what? I'm running short on money. I need a couple of dollars, whatever. Say, listen, you know what? What do you need? You need some food? Give him a bag of rice. You got 5 bags? Give him 1. Believe me, God will bless you with more. You see that man suffering? He's got an issue with his car. He needs $50 for the starter. He needs 100. Give him the 50. You got an extra starter. Give him an extra starter. Give him an extra car. You got a car sitting there. You're not using it. Hey, John, you know what? You can use my car from now on. Usually need it for a while. Take it for a couple of weeks. Do what you got to do. We got to start somewhere. We got to start helping each other out, bottom line. The government, as you see, is really not going to do much for you. That's the 2 things. So right there, number 1 is love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, and strength, and everything else shall be added unto you. Okay? Love your neighbor as you love thyself. All right, so the main thing is God. That's capital G, number 1. Capital G, number 2, guns. I don't care if it's legal to have a gun or not. If you can get your hands on a gun, get your hands on a gun. Why? Because when the criminals come knocking, you need to come out rocking, okay? When they start kicking doors in sooner or later because they don't, forget about toilet paper. When there's no food in your house and you got your wife and 2 kids to protect, or you yourself even, just if you're one of them guys that live alone, okay, you're going to have a problem when the mobs are going down the street looking for weakness, and they're going to start kicking doors in and trying to take over people's houses, food, whatever, just like you see in these movies. This is what happens in these end-of-the-world scenarios, okay? Things are going to get ugly. You see that people were fighting for toilet paper. I mean, this is ridiculous. For hand sanitizers and things of that nature. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is stupid. There's so many ways to sanitize your hands. By the way, baking soda is one of the best things for sanitation, sanitizing, brushing your teeth, killing germs across the board, period. Regular baking soda, what we call sodium bicarbonate. Not the stuff you cook with, sodium bicarbonate. All right? You add a little bit of that into some water, and that in itself disinfects almost everything. If you notice, fungus and stuff like that never grows on baking soda because baking soda is antiseptic, anti-germ, after everything. Okay? But it doesn't hurt you. All right? So now, that's the important thing. So you need God and you need guns. You better have them bullets, man. You better have them bullets to protect your family, protect your food, protect your life. You better have guns, man. If you don't got guns, you better start getting improvising. You better start doing something. You better have some knives, some swords. Those are close range weaponry. You got to know how to use it, but it's better than nothing, okay? It's better than nothing. But stick with the golden rule, guns, rule. Okay? So you got God, you got guns, then you need gold. Gold can get you things. Okay? Real gold. When I say gold, even a gold chain. Listen, if you got to go to the store, there's no money in the bank, and you know that gold chain might have ran you $3,000. Listen, right now you need to go grocery shopping. You tell that store owner, listen, brother, I don't have money, but I got this gold chain right here. You can check it out. Look, this thing cost me $3,000. I just want $500 worth of groceries. Okay, $500 worth of groceries. And if you can get that, that'll keep you going. Hey, you ain't got a chain, but you got your life. You got your food. Your family's going to eat for a couple of weeks. That's what you got to look at it as, okay? All right? At this point, vanity shouldn't matter. Fancy cars, rims, golden jewelry, the things that we can live without technically, you don't need it. Get rid of it. Chuck it off, man. You got a gold watch with diamonds on it. The shit ran you $10,000. Listen, tell the guy, give me 2. Give me 1. I need this money, B. I gotta buy food. Or trade. I'll trade you. I'll trade you that watch, that gold watch with diamonds, and you can verify. Go to the jewelry shop real fast, verify. Whatever you gotta do, fine. Listen, you wanna do this trade? All right, I need them gacks, man. I need that clapper. Okay? I gotta protect my family. You got it for me? Boom. Get it. That's it. At the end of the day, you gotta protect yourself. You ain't gonna call 911 when everybody's breaking into houses, running down the street, chasing people. 911 ain't gonna do shit. 911 is gonna be in his house, taking care of his family, because he got that. See? He's gonna call sick to work or emergency. He can't make it in today. Why? Because he's taking care of his wife, his family, or himself, whatever. His mother or father who's ill or sick or older. I got family. I gotta take care of my family, man. At the end of the day, that comes first. Family first, okay? After the Lord comes family, okay? So you need you need God, you need your gun, and then you need gold. You need something to trade, gold and silver. Gold and silver is currency when there's no money or when the dollar fails. Gold and currency is king, all right? Gold and silver is king at that time, all right? If you don't have gold and silver, then you better have commodities. You better have toilet paper. You better have hand sanitizer. You better have flares. Anything and everything becomes a commodity. If somebody needs it, they can trade. You got toilet paper, I got toothpaste. I'll give you 2 rolls of toothpaste. You give me 4 rolls of toilet paper. Whatever works. We got to switch it up. We got to exchange. We got to barter. That's the next thing. You better have little things to barter. And let me tell you something. Matches, toilet paper, you know, a bounty paper, bounty for like hand, you know, drying your hands. That counts as paper. Okay. All these things, these little things that we don't really think about, when hell breaks loose, these things matter more than diamonds and pearls, okay? Or something to wipe your ass and clean your plates is more important than a gold watch or a diamond ring. Trust me, at that point, these things mean more. Unless you're the guy that has all that and you want the watch, you don't mind getting rid of some of this paper for that watch. Okay, you don't mind giving that guy $500 worth of rice, food, etc., because you want a $10,000 watch for a bargain, basically. All right? So keep your eyes open for these things, ladies and gentlemen. You got to think about survival when things get crazy. First, you want to thank God, like I said. Then you want to have that burner, because at the end of the day, a prayer and a bullet works better than a prayer, I think, sometimes, all right? So I'm going to ask God for help, for his angels to protect me. But at the same time, if somebody's kicking my door in and I got that burner, I'll tell the Lord that I'm going to handle business, you know, stay by my side, but I'm about to blast somebody out into the next dimension. You know, I'm going to give you that one time to tell you, listen, man, you don't stop kicking this door, you ain't going to walk out of here. All right? If that, you know, individual does not get the point, I would take matters into my hands. And, you know, I don't give a shit what the legal system thinks about it. You are not over my life. And you do not dictate to me how to handle my affairs and how to take care of myself and my family. That's the problem with this fucking government BS. They over here trying to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, give us your guns, give us your bullets. Who the fuck am I gonna call to protect me? When the phones are overwhelmed with 10,000 people simultaneously calling for all kinds of different things, and there's only 3 operators working at NYPD because they all stood home taking care of their families. Okay? See, this is the problem. We rely too much on Big Brother. Big Brother ain't doing shit for nobody. Take care of your own affairs. Have your burner, have your gold, have your grub, have whatever you need. Now, in New York, for example, it's almost impossible to get these things legally. You need to talk to somebody, man, and see what you could do. It's hard, it's very difficult. I could tell you firsthand, it's almost impossible to get things out here. You need money to get them things out here. But, you might have somebody that lives in another state. Use your intuition. You might have to go take a drive out there. You might have to go get something. Okay, protect yourself, man. But I'm not condoning violence. Again, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not condoning you to even break rules. Use your judgment. You gotta be your own person. You gotta deal with your own consequences. Okay? So you got the 4 G's, I call them. You got God, you got guns, you got gold, and then you got grub, food. Food is a commodity, one that you need and one that you can trade. So if I got 10 boxes of oodles, ramen noodles, listen, and I don't advocate ramen noodles for nobody, but when you starving to death, guess what? Ramen noodles will be very good for you. You will love some nice hot cup of ramen noodles when you are starving to death. You will thank me later. Yeah, we know it's like plastic and that it has a lot of chemicals, but you know what though? It will keep you going for a while. All right? When times are hard, you can't be choosy. Okay? A Snickers bar is food when you're starving to death. You ration that shit. You cut it into a small piece. You eat that little piece and you go 4 hours with that little piece that you ate. Next 4 hours, you take another piece. You eat that little piece. That's food. That'll keep you going for 4 hours, man. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. So you better have some food. Dried foods preferably. Canned goods, they last a few months. That's good too. All right? Perishables you eat first. Meat, any dairy products you want to consume. You want to consume them first. Eat them first. Cook them immediately. It's better to have them cook. Or if you have them frozen, keep them frozen. But if you can't freeze them, if they're going to go bad, cook them. Cook them and then you can cool them off. They'll last a lot longer. You know what I mean? But as long as they cooked, you could always reheat it later. Lighters, matches, road flares. These things are gold when you got to cook something. All right? Learn how to make fires out of one of them fire stones. Whatever they call them thingies, man. I'm not even familiar with the names of a lot of this stuff, but I know what they do and I know what I need. You got a little propane torch, keep it there. You might need that sucker to, light it and then turn on a real fire without having, lighter fluid. Lighter fluid, these things all matter. You start to see the things that you take for granted during a situation become tools of survival. Little pocket knife. Man, I carry a little pocket knife wherever I go. I use it to cut wires, to work on cars, just cut fruit. If I got to cut a piece of twig and make a little sharp instrument out of that, to bore holes, whatever you got to do, a little pocket knife goes a long way. All right, these things matter. Have them available to yourself, on your person if you can, in your vehicle, nearby the house. When something goes down, you're gonna need these things. You might need a little knife to cut wood and create a temporary shelter. Okay, you might need a little knife to just cut twine to tie something up, to make a barricade of some sort, make just a stick to go fishing with, anything, whatever. Use your imagination. These little tools, knives, screwdrivers, little axe, these things come in handy. You need them. So again, to refresh the 4 G's, God, guns, gold, and grub. And God is number one. That is number one. You better be right with the Creator. Stay right with Him because He can do miracles. When you run out of food, when you run out of grub, that's when God comes in. And He could save the day miraculously and quickly. All right? Well, anyway, again, coronavirus is something that you got to watch. Eat right. Eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Juice often. Work out. Since now they closed the gym, you got to work out at home. Take supplements, amino acids. Take your whey proteins. Do these things that I would say, I want to use bodybuilders, but people that take care of themselves use. I'm into that. Krill oil, greens, powdered greens, like chlorella. Stuff like that is good for detoxing, is good to keep you fit. They provide minerals, enzymes in your system that you don't need to eat a lot. You could have that with tea. A spoon of chlorella with some tea and a little taste of some fruit in there, because I don't like chlorella. I don't like how it tastes. But if you got to do what you got to do, you drink that, and I guarantee you that your body feels stronger and you don't have any side effects, like with medications and things. So I just want to shout out everybody. Mad love. I hope that I helped out to ease your panic, ease up your tensions. I hope I gave you a tip or two on just basic concepts of survival. All right, and I wish everybody safety, wellness, prosperity in the name of the Most High, Jesus Christ. Blessings.